Welcome to online study guide, guys. Today our topic is William Butler Yeats. So we are going to talk about William Butler Yeats. We are going to talk about his life. William Butler Yeats was born in a Dublin suburb on June 13th, 1865. So he was born in a Dublin suburb on June 13th, 1865. Okay. So William Butler Yeats was a powerful figure in the 19th century. Okay, so he was a powerful figure in the 19th century. He set up Dublin's Abbey Theatre and won the Nobel Prize for Literature. So these are two of his, we can say, major achievements, that he won Nobel Prize for Literature. Okay, and when he won the Nobel Prize was that he won the Nobel Prize in 1920. So next point is that we are going to talk about his age, to which age he belonged. So William Butler Yeats is regarded as one of the last romantics who successfully bridged the gap between the romantic tradition of the 19th century and the modernist literature of the 20th century. So William Butler Yeats ने क्या किया था, that he had successfully bridged the gap. So he was regarded both a romantic and a modern too. Okay, so William Butler Yeats was regarded a romantic and also a modern too. So next is that the conditions of his life and his remarkable personality drove him through every one of the developments and impacts of his age, from the debauched 19s nearly to the disastrous 40s. Okay, so through his conditions that he had made himself a remarkable personality. Next point. So next is that introduction to the poet. Okay, so William Butler Yeats, when did he started writing? That the time was when he was 17. Okay, so he is regarded as one of the greatest poets of the 20th century. Okay, also next is that for a short time in his life he studied painting. Okay, for a short time in his life he had studied painting and retained through his life a passionate love and understanding of that art, but while he was young. Okay, so what we came to know here is that for a short time in his life he was interested in painting. Okay, he had studied painting, he had just retained a passionate love of painting. So but while he was young, his father, always a profound influence upon him, introduced him to two prominent figures. Okay, his father, who was a great influence upon him, he has introduced him to two figures. Okay, the two figures are Edward Dodden and John Todhunter. Okay, these are the two figures. So it was through Dodden's encouragement that he took interest in literature. Okay, so it was whose Edward Dodden's encouragement that he took interest in literature. So he took an increasingly active interest in national politics also. Okay, so when he took interest in literature, he also took interest in politics. Okay, as he belonged to the Anglo-Irish minority that had controlled the economic, political, social, and cultural life of Ireland also. So so what we came to know about poet is that he was into painting, but then he took interest in literature and also in politics also. So first we here also know that at the age of 17 he had started writing at the age of 17, and his first solo publication of William Butler Yeats was Musada, which was a dramatic poem. Okay, so bus we had to remember only two people here, which is Edward Dodden and Todhunter. Okay, so next is Irish Literary Revival. The Irish Literary Revival, also जिसे कि हम क्या कहते हैं, Irish Literary Renaissance कहते हैं. Okay, so it was also nicknamed as Celtic Twilight, which was an unfolding of Irish literary talent in the late 19th and 20th century. So जो phrase है Celtic Twilight, what was it? It was describes that the past movements in literature, arts, and social practices in which poetry and art were revived. Okay, so this phrase describes the poetry and art, how they were revived. Okay, the past movements related to these things. Okay, so this main Celtic revival took place in Ireland. Okay, it took place in Ireland. The revival was motivated by Gaelic League. So what was Gaelic League? It was shaped in 1893 to restore the Irish language and culture. So Gaelic League was made to restore the Irish language and culture. So this was totally identified by Celtic literature. So all of this was identified with Celtic literature. It is also formed in Celtic dialects as Irish, Welsh, Scottish, Cornish, Scottish Gaelic. Okay, these were the dialects. So the Gaelic topics into present day writing. So what was it? That it now it has translated all these topics. In 1897, a progression of lucky gatherings brought about the advancements of the Irish scholarly theatre, which gave its first exhibition in Dublin in 1899. So, what we had read in the starting about the Abbey Theatre, which he had brought, okay. So, it was the first exhibition of it was in 1899. Okay, it is also called as Abbey Theatre, and it is also called as National Theatre of Ireland, okay. And it was a state subsidized theatre, okay, which was leading to culture institution. And by whom was it found? Okay, that is very important thing. By whom was it found? It was found by Lady Gregory, Edward Martin, and W.B. Yeats. So we have to remember these people because this is a very important point. Okay, by whom was it founded? It was founded by Lady Gregory, Edward Martin, and W.B. Yeats. Next, we are going to talk about is the poetic developments of Yeats. Okay, what are the poetic developments of Yeats? So, Yeats began as a late romantic and a pre-Raphaelite with the additional advantage of an contact with Irish mythological tradition and folk culture. Okay, so Yeats was a late romantic. Okay, and he was also a pre-Raphaelite. And what he had advantage of is that he had an advantage of a contact with Irish mythological tradition and folk culture. So what is remarkable about his whole career is that his sustained power of development. Okay, he could not remain a poet of Celtic delight. Okay, he don't want to be just there. He want to explore himself in different things. So in the second phase of his work, represented by the volume of poems called and what was famous in his second phase. Okay, the first phase was when he started writing. Okay, when he came in contact with this all Celtic delight. The next was that in the second phase of his work, he represented volumes of poems called The Wind Amongst the Reeds. Okay, it has volumes of poems and the play, The Shadowy Waters. So, Yeats' most ambitious and elaborate symbolist work is the dramatic poem called The Shadowy Waters. He could sense the further wars and violences of which we know that about World War II was happened. So he write regarding all these things, okay, and he was also a symbolist. He had said that do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by strike. It's such a great thing. So he also made Rhymers Club. Okay, what was Rhymers Club? It was a group of London-based poets in 1896, founded by W.B. Yeats. Okay, it was founded by W.B. Yeats. Yeats' most remarkable, memorable, and important poetry was written when he had crossed the age of 50. Okay, जो important चीज़ें जब Yeats ने लिखी थी, that was when he had crossed the age of 50. This poetry is to be found in the series of volumes published in the years immediately following the end of the First World War. और ये कब हमें लिखी गई है, जब हमने ये पढ़ी है, that was when First World War ended. So we can take example of the Wild Swans at Cooley, Michael Robertes and the Dancer, and the Tower. Okay. Yeats have also been the chief representative of symbolist movement in English literature. Okay, so as I told you that he was a symbolist, so he was the chief representative of symbolist movement in English literature. So in 1923 he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Okay, so जो Nobel Prize जब उन्हें मिला, that it gave him a public recognition to his work. Okay, it gave public recognition to his work. He was the first Irish writer to win the Nobel Prize. Next we have there some ladies we are going to talk about which are very important in Yeats' life. Okay, so the woman in Yeats' life, this is Morgon, woman Gregory. Okay, we'll talk about Morgon. There is one also another, but first we are going to talk about is Morgon. The most acclaimed was Morgon. Okay, she was an excellent and expressive lady and an enthusiastic patriot. Yeats met her in 1889 and was deeply inspired at the absolute first gathering by her appeal. Yeats had never altogether endorsed of her progressive and crazy Irish patriotism. He saw her as ideal excellence destroyed in the help of a disgraceful reason. So, Yeats जो था, Mordaunt was a very important lady in his life. Okay, Yeats fell in love with him. Okay, but Mordaunt rejected him. He married someone other. Okay, and not even once Mordaunt rejected him. I think 4 to 5 times his proposal, but at last Mordaunt married someone else. Okay, so he fell in love with her and he proposed her many times. Okay, but she refused and she ultimately married whom? Major John McBride in 1903. So the second, okay, but I want to tell you more things about it, that he had also written poems on Mordaunt. Okay, he had also written poems on Mordaunt. Second, we are going to talk about is woman Gregory. The second significant lady in Yeats' life was Lady Augusta Gregory. Generally, it was she who made his work conceivable. She was a companion and a benefactor. She became for him a picture of aristocratic courtesy. Together, they arranged and coordinated the theatre's social orders, which in the end turned into Abbey Theatre. Okay, with her help, he had also made Abbey Theatre. Yeats offered hearty thanks to her by saying, "She had been to me mother, friend, sister, and brother. I cannot realize the world without her. She brought to my wavering thoughts steadfast nobility. I doubt if I have done much with my life but for her firmness and her care." Okay, so these are the two important ladies, and we also have one more, that is Olivia Shakespeare. So the third most important woman was Olivia Shakespeare, whom he first met through her cousin Leon Johnson. Okay, Lionel Johnson ने इन्हें मिलवाया था in 1894. Okay, so the young wife of an elderly solicitor, she was one of the few persons with whom Yeats could be completely relaxed. Temperamentally, she was just the opposite of Mordaunt. Okay, she was a generous woman of great human warmth. She offered to Yeats the affection, sympathy, and comradeship that Mordaunt was never able to provide. Mordaunt offered Yeats subject matter for poetry. Lady Gregory gave him time and place to work, and Olivia Shakespeare offered him peace and tranquility. So this is how these three ladies played an important role in his life. Okay, first is that Mordaunt offers him what? Subject matter for poetry. Lady Gregory gave him time and place to work, and what Olivia Shakespeare gave him was his peace and tranquility. So next we came to an end, that what we totally now know about him, that is that he wrote his most memorable poetry at the age of 50, and when he became mature, so he has two qualities in him, which is vision and courage. Okay,